we got
I
like
don't know what you call snow in Tennessee, but this ain't snow.
yeah, that was like just enough to cover the grass. There's a lot of footprints everywhere. I see some deer prints in the back. The topic for the day is the weak link in the chain concept, like what goes on in a system or what you can listen for or look at in a system to try to weed out or tease out the weak link. And it's difficult, especially for people that haven't been through multiple systems before. If you only have one point of reference, that would be tough, really tough. So we get that. So maybe we could try to figure out, maybe we could try to remember what it was like when we first heard music.
Well, okay.
And then what did we do to make it sound better? I don't know how far back we got to go there. Let's not even go that deep. But, you know, like.
It's a really difficult thing to figure out, especially if you're new to the industry, if you haven't heard a lot of systems. And I guess we'll talk more specifically about headphones and headphone systems. And, of course, in the high-end sense, not quite so much the budget entry level. But these things more or less apply across the board. Knowing the thing that's causing your system to maybe not perform its best, it's incredibly difficult. It's really hard. It's not always obvious. Hearing different things tends to be what I think is the easiest way to help make you determination.
Yeah, because
getting experience.
That allows you to triangulate a bit, you know, so to speak. You know, if you got 2, 3, 4 points of reference, now you're like, okay. And then you start honing in on what you like. Because that's kind of what it's about here. You know, it's not what someone else tells you to do.
Right.
It's more like what you like.
That is a big thing, actually. You see a lot of people on forums that say, oh, this is the best. This is just the greatest.
Yeah.
And that can be misleading because it always depends on that person's experience. And if they have very limited experience, well, maybe it's the best thing they've ever used. Maybe they think it's better than anything could be.
Sure.
But if they have very limited experience,
and there's
how useful is that?
There's levels to that, too. You know, you can have experience in all low-end stuff and find the best thing that's possible for under $500.
Right. Yeah.
And you've never tried anything above that. And then you go above that, and all of a sudden you realize, oh, geez, there's a whole different world out there. That goes for anything, too.
Well,
it's not even just audio. It's everything. All price points are like that.
Yep. People are always bringing in their own little personal spin on things. Their internal biases and how they impact their purchasing decisions are brought into their perception of value, quality, affordability, the performance of the gear. And so sometimes something could cost twice as much and not be much better, but be a little bit better. And if it's considered to be such a minor price difference, even if it's twice the price, to some people it doesn't matter, others it does. You know, some people, they don't want to spend more than $100 on a DAC. Other people, $1,000 is nothing.
So the question is, how do you explain to somebody how to deal with this?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem is there's no simple solution. There's not like, you know, just listen to each component and then well, you can't listen to each one individually, but you can just like listen to your system and then you got to listen to other systems and then kind of figure out what changed between them to kind of, I guess you have to keep something similar. Like if you're using headphones, it's easier to try your headphones on someone else's amp or something. I guess that's just trying different things.
Yeah.
But keeping something the same. Because otherwise you can't change everything.
Can jams are always great for that because you could go and plug into 20 different things in a day. And in fact, probably more than that.
Well, that's why it's a lot harder with speakers.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to bring full-size amps sitting into your house from other people and stuff.
Yeah, to me with speakers, you're almost better off speaking to dealers or somebody who sold the speakers because they usually have an idea what electronics mate well with stuff like that. And, you know, where it's a crapshoot if you don't. Man, I was thinking back, come to think of it, 2-channel systems are hard. Because, I mean, you know, usually you got a preamp in there too. So you got more devices, you got more of everything. You got more cabling, you have everything. Where a headphone system is way more basic. It's one or two pieces.
You could make it just as complicated if you wanted to.
You could, yeah. But you don't normally see that.
Basic.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people just run DAPs or a portable player or, you know, and that's it. And you plug in and you're done. That's a headphone and something in your pocket.
But I guess there's not much you can do there except replace the whole thing in that case.
Yeah, right.
So it is what it is then.
And it does seem, unfortunately, that price matters in this industry. That as you move up that chain of ladder, that with very few exceptions, it does tend to get smoother and more refined as you go up. And
there's outliers.
Sure.
But generally speaking, more expensive unfortunately, is a lot of times better.
Yeah, it's really difficult to find gems in in
Yeah.
the lower price class, and even then they're gems relative to the other things in its range.
Right.
So yeah, it's you got to try it. I think that's the only thing we could say is try stuff.
This is probably one of the most difficult things in high-end audio, knowing what you want and how to achieve it. Because for so many people, they haven't been to 20 shows. They didn't hear 50 different setups. They can't try their headphones on a multitude of combinations. And so they don't really necessarily know for certain exactly how they want to hear their music, exactly the sound signature they're looking for. And so how do they know what to get? How do they know what gear is the limitation? How do they know what best value approach is to get what they're going for? Because nobody wants to spend too much, of course.
Yeah.
That's pretty obvious, right? Why spend more when you could spend less if you get the same result? But getting that right combination, it's very difficult. And without experience, I don't know of a solution. Without actually trying the different gear, I don't see any great option.
I would say too, if you want to just read on it and stuff and see what other people sharing ideas on certain gear with certain headphones, like Headfi, the forum is probably the best place to go because the guys there for the most part are pretty damn good, and you
It's very
can
helpful.
find they have all levels there. You could go into the high end forum and look at the more spendy stuff if your budget is there, and then otherwise they have all levels there.
I think without actually having the ability to like go somewhere and try stuff out, that's probably the easiest is to read
Yeah,
as many people
research,
that have the gear you're interested in.
right?
And usually everybody says pretty similar.
There'll be common
common
right.
things said about
Yeah,
it.
right.
You might have some outliers. Someone says, "Oh, this is bad at this."
Yeah.
But, you got to take an average.
And always be aware of something that's new that just came out because
Well,
those
Yeah.
those
Give
are
it a
mixed
little bit.
reviews.
Yeah.
You got to let that settle.
That's
and
a
see how-
common issue.
Yeah.
People always see that. Some new thing comes out, it gets hyped up, and people always jump on board the train, they buy into it,
Yeah.
and then 3 to 6 months later, they figure out it isn't what I
It
wanted.
fizzles. Yeah. So always let that. You got to let time play itself out on that kind of stuff, so you really know what the average is. 'cause-
It could help.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes the hype is real, but
Agreed. Yeah.
that's generally not the case.
Either
it
way,
seems.
it's always a safe bet. I mean, especially if you're on a budget.
Right.
A safe bet is to let that tease
Yeah, yeah,
itself
yeah.
out. Hey, if 6 months later, even 3 months, if everyone's still saying the same thing,
Yeah.
probably a good piece.
Probably.
So
So unfortunately, it seems the answer in that one is experience.
yes.
Talking with other people that have firsthand experience, that seems to be the key. And make sure you try to get as many opinions as you can, because not everybody values the exact same thing. So seeing a bunch of different things, figuring out how you work into that equation, I think that's the approach.
Agreed.
So as always, let us know what you see in the comments below. If you have any ideas for a future episode, we'd love to hear them. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.
Thank you.